Picture books, children's dolls and hundreds of gas masks are among the personal items left behind in a Chernobyl ghost town, which paint an eerie picture of all that remains of a community that was once 50,000 strong. The city of Pripyat, in northern Ukraine, was evacuated after the explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in 1986, and despite once being home to nearly 50,000 people, has never been inhabited since. Urban explorer Adam Mark, from Denbighshire in Wales, visited the exclusion zone just a few days ago and recorded new footage of the city, which appears to have been frozen in time. Haunting snaps include a nursery, with rows of cots, mattresses and dolls still eerily in place, whilst other photographs show thousands of gas masks lying abandoned on the floor and theme park rides which are now being swallowed up by nature. Everyday objects such as toys, books and medicine bottles can still be seen, as residents were told they would be able to return home in 3 days, yet 35 years later the Soviet town still lies abandoned. Adam, 32, said, "You aren't supposed to go there at all because it's just so dangerous. The buildings are unstable and the floors are seriously dodgy." Ironically, though, inside is apparently safer than outside, because when the explosion happened everyone was told to shut their windows, so I'm told there would be more radiation outside than inside. It was all pretty eerie and quite sad really, but the most fascinating building for me was the morgue. There were untouched jars full of liquid in there, perfectly preserved. Adam arrived at Pripyat with his girlfriend on October 10 and spent 6 days exploring the forbidden ghost town with an unofficial guide. During his trip he entered various buildings including the school, leisure center, cafes, a hospital and the morgue. Adam, who used to work in security but now explores full-time, added, "It was well worth the visit. Incredible really, absolutely mind-blowing." Previous expeditions inside the 1,600-mile exclusion zone have also shown nature recolonizing the area, with wild horses taking up residence in abandoned houses while packs of wolves roamed the surrounding areas. Pripyat, which was built nearby for the plant's workers, and the surrounding areas were not initially evacuated as local authorities waited for orders from Moscow before establishing whether the reactor had exploded. The lost hours meant that weddings went forward, children played in the street and babies were pushed around in prams in the shadow of the smoldering reactor as it shot radioactive waste into the sky. When the evacuation was eventually carried out, residents were told that they would be returning to the city in 3 days. Firefighters who rushed to the reactor to extinguish the blaze, despite having no training in how to handle a nuclear fire, were exposed to a lethal dose of radiation. The worst affected were flown to hospital in Moscow, where many died later. Those near the reactor complained of feeling sick, vomiting, exhaustion and swelling, all symptoms of radiation poisoning. A new protective shield was installed over the nuclear reactor in 2016 at a cost of £2 billion to the Russian authorities. Workers at the time were only allowed into the zone for 2 hours a week, due to fears of them receiving a lethal dose of radiation. The exclusion zone is expected to be in place for at least the next 20,000 years, as the uranium gradually degrades.